Hello friends and welcome to Goblin Talks. Today is the first day of my Heroes series. I'm not going to juggle for these, so I'm sorry about that, but I want to take a little bit to talk about the people who have really influenced my life, and I don't want to juggle or distract from the people I'm going to talk about. I'm going to start by talking about Rick the Peanutman, who is a major inspiration to me as a juggler. He threw stuff. He didn't really juggle, but his work ethic really appealed to me. Next week, I'm going to talk about my family members who are all really big inspirations to me. They're brilliant and wonderful, from my mother and father all the way down to my twin sister. And I'm really looking forward to telling you about these wonderful human beings. For the final week, I think I'm going to talk to you guys about Jim Thorpe, who's another big hero of mine. I might change that, but Jim Thorpe is a really cool topic. So I think I'm going to go ahead and talk to you guys about him because he's a wonderful, dedicated individual. And all of these people, I think, are linked by one common trait. They all work very, very hard. They don't expect anything. They went out and got what they wanted, and they practiced incessantly to be good at what they did. But for now, let's talk about Rick the Peanutman. Rick passed away a couple years ago from a complication to his health, the exact specifics of which I can't give you, but I can give you a link to go find them. It was really kind of disturbing to me at the time. I hadn't expected him to go at the time, so I've actually kind of avoided that, which is really kind of juvenile when I think about it. But all the same, I actually want you to see that and know that that's the way I feel about this man. For me, it was difficult because he taught me how to catch in a lot of ways. He threw me my first bag of peanuts at a Mariners game in probably about 95, 94. From there, he taught me how to keep my hands up and how to catch peanuts. And as I grew older, he would start throwing me peanuts in more complicated ways from farther away. My favorite throw from him was 2 aisles away, so, probably 100, 150 feet behind the back throw over, 100 different people to land directly in my hands. Now, I do want to contrast this to the times where he totally forgot to deliver me the peanuts from that distance. So, he was not a flawless hero, but he was somebody who I looked at as a man that was very dedicated to the craft he had chosen. And when you think of craft you would choose, I don't think most people think, well, Peanutman, I'm going to throw peanuts behind my back from long distance. But that's what Rick did. And for a lot of the kids that grew up with him throwing to them, that was a big inspiration. For me as a juggler, I wasn't even a juggler when I saw him throw peanuts for the first time, but I remember seeing him throw and then going home and just practicing behind the back throws over and over again, trying to get it into a small little location to try and be like Rick. And I think that was a big motivation to me to learn work ethic, to understand that if you want to try and do something hard, you're going to have to practice it no matter what it is, whether it's throwing peanuts behind your back or learning to program or any other number of things. And I do my best to follow that work ethic that I think he established. So the thing for me that really bummed me out about Rick's death, like aside from the loss for me personally, was my daughter was just going on to time to go to Mariners games, and I had not realized this as a kid and not even as a parent. But one of the things I sort of expected was my daughter would learn to catch a bag of peanuts, but also to just generally catch an object from Rick. That's how I learned. My dad took me out to throw a lot, so no disrespect meant to him. He taught me how to catch a baseball in a lot of ways, but Rick really taught me some basic principles and really the principles of working hard. So that's my first hero that I wanted to tell you guys about. And if you want to learn more about him, go to the Rick the Peanutman Foundation page. You'll find pictures of him, stories about him, and I'll give you a link in the comments. But please go check him out. He's a wonderful man who really influenced my life, and I feel poor for having him not have met my daughter. I wish he could have done that and showed her the ropes of catching peanuts, which may sound weird if you're not a baseball fan, but that's the way it is for me. And next week, I'm going to tell you about my family, and I really am looking forward to that as well, because these are all people who are hugely influential on me. Thank you again for joining me. Follow me on, Facebook, YouTube, wherever else you want to. I'm all over the place, but I hope you have a good night, and I will talk to you soon.